Hey, this is the Ranch Fairy. Jeff Johnston was kind enough to let us go to Oklahoma and play around with bow and arrows. You know, we had a crossbow, we had arrow gun. He has a YouTube channel called Bull Shooters, so subscribe to his channel. And then here's what happens at long range when you change the helical and change the mass. Stay tuned. Okay, great. Hey, this is Ranch Fairy. Good morning. So we're in Oklahoma. We drove all the way up to Oklahoma to Jeff Johnston's place up here. He's an outdoor writer and invited us up to come play. So we're gonna have arrow guns, crossbows, all kind of crazy stuff. But right now we're gonna do a test. We've got the lab radar. We have the Rocket Man right there, of course. If you don't have a Rocket Man, I mean, you don't even count in YouTube world. What we're gonna play with is, I've got these three arrows. I've got really high helical and long fletchings. I tried my best to straight fletch this one on a Bitzenberger. A Bitzenberger clamp's bent, but I tried to fletch it as straight as I could, so little vanes for fletch. And then I shot my fave, which is feathers with a little bit of offset for fletch. What are the weights on these? So the feathers,
so with the total is 337 for the feathers, 343 for the zinger, 362 for the high helical 3-fin, and 353 for the small 4-fin.
okay. So this is all the same arrows. I got the lightest arrows I could get. VAP, but the Victory guys were nice enough to send me some VAPs. These are super light. They're 300 spine. I put the lightest insert they had, I think it's 30 grains, and there's a 100 grain point. So these arrows are super light. The theory is that the mass of the arrow will not have enough carry to overwhelm different kind of fletching styles, and they'll slow down faster than heavy. So we're hoping to repeat the test. If I can hit that stupid 3 targets out there, because I'm not a very good shot. If I can hit that 3 times in a row, we get the arrows back, then I'm gonna crank up the weight 200 grains, put a 300 grain point on here and repeat the test. We want to see if helical actually slows the arrows down by drag, and if mass contributes to a more compressed, speed erosion, or if it's the same. And we don't know. So that's what we're gonna find out. So we're gonna get on the lab radar, I'm gonna fling them down there, and we'll see what happens. Is that all we're trying to do here?
I think that's all we're trying to do, except for one thing. You need to make a prediction on how much that helical is gonna slow down.
This guy?
Yeah.
On a Twizzler?
Yeah.
35 feet per second.
Okay.
But I cheated a little bit.
All right. We'll see if it's right.
It's already there. And so that's our prediction, is it's really gonna slow down a lot, and then when we crank up the point weight, they're not gonna slow down as much, because the mass should overwhelm the drag of the fletch. But unless you test this stuff, you don't know. So here we go, we'll get you shooting, and to get you some screenshots. See ya. All right, we're shooting the high helical 3 fletch.
Okay.
I put this on an Arizona Easy Fletch, and these are Q2i Fusion, 3-inch long, pretty standard vane for mass. One note, the reason why the weights of the arrows vary is because the fletchings are that heavy. The feathers are extremely light, so the tail of the arrow's light. So we're gonna compare arrow to arrow to arrow, but we couldn't get them all the same mass without shaving down the fletchings or something. And it's a pretty good representation of you jacking around in the archery shop and getting whatever's on your arrows. So we're armed. Please, God, help me hit the stupid target that's as big as an elephant. Get some supernatural powers here. I hit the target. Okay. That was the high helical fletch, 293 Rocket Man.
Got it.
And 267 at 50 yards. You know what that means? Nothing. It absolutely means nothing. As Barnett says, it's all data. So that means for that arrow, that's how fast it was going. and it doesn't, there's no further overreach on our philosophical plans here. One thing, if you use a lab radar, constantly rearm it. So see the blue light? That means it's not armed. And rearm it every time, or you'll take a couple of shots and it'll be wasted time.
You want to make sure it's pointed downrange still.
Yeah.
Just in case.
That's pretty good. So, I mean, I could pull a hamstring having to walk 50 yards and pull arrows. That'd be terrible. Pull a hammy, have all kind of issues. Okay. I'm hitting the target. Woo, 303 and 269.
Okay, and which one was that?
Feathers. Man, the old cure is zinging today. Twizzler sticks. Gotta love your Twizzlers. All right, so rearm. This is 4 fin. Well, that's the only one left, I guess. 4 fletch veins.
Yeah.
All right. That one shot real good. 296, 271. All right, so now I'm gonna go screw on some adult field points, and then we're gonna try this again. So stay tuned. All right, we had we were shooting the super weenie points. We decided to go ahead and get an upgrade. So we went from 100 to 300 grains, and still the same arrows. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weigh them just to make sure that they are weighed out, because when you hang out with the Rocket Man, everything's got to be all precise and stuff. I would just say it's 200 grains more than the other ones, but he would say, no, you gotta weigh them. So we're gonna do that. So get the scale, fire it up. Dr. Barnett, we are weighing the fletched with feathers.
Okay.
I shot one with a zinger, and it's in Oklahoma now. We don't know where in Oklahoma, but it did zoomed out there. 537. Okay. High helical, 3 fin, 563. And 4 fletch veins, 554. That's not a ton of mass. I mean, it's only 550. It's not, 700 might be interesting. I may have to tweak one up. So Barnett wants me to also shoot a bear shaft 50 yards, which is not a problem. So we might do that too, to see if the veins, what the difference is there. So, onward ho. We're gonna stay with the arrows we had. These are 300 spine VAPs, still the same. Got the light inserts, same arrows. We just added adult field points on there. So let's go over to the shooting stand and see what happens. All right, first out of the shoot is feathers. Don't turn the power off.
Give it a minute. I think that's it.
That was it. That was the last one. Okay, she's armed. Shot 4. So this is shot 5.
Okay.
Because we lost the first one. Impact. 245, 228. And I hit the target, which is important. 241, 228, and that was the 4 fletch little ones.
Okay, tell me again what the numbers are.
241, 228.
Okay.
High helical 3 fletch. My form is fantastic. A little low. Woo. 239, 224. And I got a bear shaft. This is fire. Let's keep it a little better. I'll let it out. All right, so this is not the same shaft. This is a 250 spine. Victory VAP with, I think that's a 60 grain outsert and a 300 grain adult field point. And I've actually bear shafted these on my bow.
So just to check, that's 598 grains?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And it is nocturned. Okay. And this is shaft number 2 of my 4. That's how I mark them. When I bear shaft nocturne, I mark little marks on the nock so I know which one's what. No fletch. Fire in the hole. We went 5, 6, 7. This is shot 8. God, it was beautiful. It just went 233. Check this out. 223. It's the best one. We just take the fletchings off and never do anything else.
And then just take those off.
There's a problem with taking the fletchings off. What is that problem, Barnett?
You lose stability in the arrow, unfortunately.
Why would that be if you were hunting?
Well, fletching covers a multitude of sins.
May bless you, my son. But you put a fin on the front, and the front would lift.
Yeah, are you talking about a substantial lifting device?
Possibly a broadhead.
Yeah, possibly a
lifting
broadhead.
device?
Yes.
So your broadhead would cut into the atmosphere, do whatever it's doing, and you would have no opposing force in the back pressing against it the other direction. It's a completely different way of thinking about arrow because that's how they fly. You go like that. So if you just put a fletch on the front, which is a broadhead, it's going to do some crazy stuff. But if you put a little bit of fins on the back, it does that. It's a little bit of a war, and you want it to plane out real fast. So I'll go pull my arrows, and we'll analyze the data.
Sounds good.
All right.
There you go.
Perfect. All right, let's take a look at that. The bear shaft did the best.
Yeah, by far. But it was also the heaviest one.
Yeah, but it wasn't 700, right?
No, it wasn't 700. It's 40 grains. That just shows you how much drag. Now go throw a zinger on it and shoot it again. See how much drag the zingers add to the projectile.
Okay, let's do that. The projectile. Okay, party man. You're popular.
I don't know about you from Iowa.
I'm gonna have to have you turn that ringer off, sir.
I get calls from subscribers all the time. It's just, I have to take my phone number off my email. What's up? And I don't mind it, it's just it's a lot of them. I got a lot to do. I have a job and stuff. Sorry, nothing personal.
People really call you from your, like, do you have your phone number on your email?
Not anymore.
Well, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was a,
Oh my gosh,
it's just
I have my phone number on my response down at the bottom. I gotta take it.
yeah, you got to take it off because people just want to talk and it's fine. I mean, it's nobody's negative. Nobody called me in hate mail or anything. They just,
You got your actual cell phone number on
I
there?
accidentally did, yeah.
my guys at Trophy Scan, just could not understand. You know, it's just not my first rodeo. I'm like, dude, on your business card, no, put a business number, whatever. Buy a separate cell phone if that's what you want to do. But
you find the number for a payphone somewhere in Oklahoma and you put that number.
or whatever. But they're like, oh, we're customer service.
Are there
So if
payphones
any of our
anywhere anymore?
customers
That'd be
want to
awesome.
find me at any time, they can do that. I'm like, that's
Okay,
all
Dr.
good
Barnett.
dandy until you actually
Yes,
start
sir.
getting rich.
This projectile, which I will deliver through my kinetic energy machine, because that's all this is 612 grains with a zing, zing, zinger on it.
All right, that sounds
I
good.
want to see that site.
Okay, got it. Let's do it.
Look, okay, that's all you get. This thing's a game changer for bow hunting. It's a totally different mindset shooting it that way. It's like instinctive. Your brain just sees a certain amount of meat in the V and you pull the trigger and it's.
But is it calibrated for like deer size game? Or?
Mhm. And he has different speeds of inserts. Once you zero it, you never have to, you just flip the inserts out.
I've got to try it.
I mean, you just flip the insert out and it's zero.
So it's almost like you're drawing a fine bead or a dot on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the animal fits in it.
I get my release on here. I'm a little nervous and stuff. Golly, bum. Take some downers. All right. 612 grains. We added fletch. We're comping a bear shaft. So this is a 250 spine. This is the arrow that flies out of my bow, bear shaft. And we know what the velocity is on bear shaft. So we're going to add some drag, because when you have smart guys like Barnett around, he thinks of this stuff. I would have just, kind of, it's fine. Details. Here we go. Woo! 230, 216. Does that comp with what we did with other?
Everything so far looks really good. This looks like a good data set.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot until you get to 50. So can we just shoot bear shafts? I don't think we can.
Not yet.
Bear shaft with, oh yeah.
You need a little bit more technology to be able to do that.
Don't talk about that, Barnett.
Okay.
It's an inside deal. Okay, so we went inside because we're setting up another shoot, and me and the Rocket Man are here looking at the results. So we have it all written down, fancy pants and all. We kind of got
what we expected.
and that is because drag is mass over velocity or something. You keep saying, I don't
Yeah.
think that's the right thing.
Ballistic coefficient.
Mass over drag.
That, mass over drag. So theoretically, and it has a numerator and a denominator, if one goes up, it removes the effect of the other one. How's that for math?
That's a good,
explanation?
right, the ratio.
The ratio is removed. Disco Duck is killing it over here. He's getting more phone calls. There's all these girls calling him and stuff. So, yeah, Match.com is working out for you. So, results-wise, here's what we came up with. The feathered arrow with 4 fletch at 337 grains lost 34 feet per second. And at 537 grains, the same arrow with 4 fletched feathers lost 17. The last I checked, that's 50%. I don't know about that much about
No,
that.
you're doing good.
It's pretty close to 50%.
Pretty close.
We had one with a zinger. It was my test arrow, and I can't shoot, so we lost it. But it was going fast. It was 343 grains and lost 31 feet per second, so it's tracking. The other one lost 34. The real high helical 3 fletch did kind of what we expected. It's not a dramatic amount of loss, but it was 362 and lost 30 feet per second. And the 563 grainer on exactly the same arrow with high helical lost 15. Again, 50%. Maybe because that's a numerator and a denominator, something like that.
Yeah.
We have, so the small 4 fletch that I tried to fletch straight lost 25 feet per second. And then up at 554 grains, it lost 13. So we're right there at 50% again. And then I fired a bear shaft out there. And it was, of course, the best performing. It was 598 grains. And it only lost 10 feet per second because it doesn't have.
Fletching on it.
Yeah. We put a little zinger on there. And it lost 14 feet per second. So it wasn't a terrible reduction on the same arrow. That arrow, when you add the zinger, adds some mass. So it was 612 grains, so approximately 14 grains higher. So we kind of accomplished what we thought, which is really light arrows with all vane platforms were 50% more erosion at 50 yards than one that was 200 grains heavier.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're 560 grain arrows. They're not 700s. They're not crazy. They're really, that 550 mark is awesome. And we just keep supporting it. It just keeps supporting it. So if you think about that, and we may do the KE values and come back to this, but based on our data from yesterday, where we were shooting and measuring the KE, your KE is going down with a light arrow with all vane platforms at longer range. Okay, well, that's all we know.
Well, there's one other thing that we know.
Uh-oh.
If you take a look at this data set, you don't really see a change in velocity. I mean, maybe a spread of 5 feet per second between the very small veins and the very high helical veins.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So people who say, well, I don't want to shoot high helical because it slows my arrow down too much over something like the small fins, you just don't see that that slowdown like you might expect. It's interesting.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, the small fins you got 25, and the high helical you got 30 feet per second.
Right.
Slowdown. The other one, the zingers got 31, and the feathers got 34.
Right.
So not very much at all. So 9.
Well, another thing that I see in here that's interesting is, and I shoot feathers. I shoot feathers because they're the lightest ones. So that was the lightest shaft by far because the feathers don't weigh anything. But it did slow the arrow down more than all the other vane platforms. So vanes seem to be a little more efficient. Now, it isn't terrible. At 50 yards, it lost 17. High helical lost 15. 4 fletch tried to do it straight, lost 13. And a zinger at 600 grains lost 14. So it's not like it's 20 feet per second slower. It's just the slowest one. Now, on the upside, is the reason why I shoot feathers is they're the lightest one, so the tail's light, and that it increases your forward center. I think we'll probably have to repeat this test. I know Ed's pulling his hair out right now because we didn't do the forward center.
Yeah.
I keep saying, bro, you got to do the forward center stuff. Well, we did add a ton of forward center. I mean, we added 200 grains to the same shaft. It was a really light arrow. Sorry, Ed, we'll get to that. So, pretty cool test.
Yeah, very cool.
Once again, it's just data. And it's fun to play and go explore this stuff and just look at it and say, okay, well, facts are the facts. And I think it was Drucker. But the old saying is, liars can figure. But figures don't lie. So just keep that in your head, and you can pull your hair out and tell us we're wrong or whatever. Get a lab radar, do it yourself. It'll be fine. Comments below. We look forward to some Speed Demon guys with super Twizzlers telling us we're crazy. That's okay. We're used to this by now.
Yeah, sure.
Liars can figure, but figures don't lie. See ya.